done some more moving dirt. Got along pretty good yesterday. I kind of got this fixed down here by this tank where the fence was going to cross out here on the clearing for the fence job and everything. And I think it's going to work. The water was slow running out of it, and it kept trying to ball up on me a little bit, but I think it'll be good enough. I'll look at it again and see. May have to touch it up a little bit. As that water soaks up into that mud, it was starting to slough off a little bit. I was trying to fix it where it wouldn't, no water run in the tank, that way it wouldn't wash it off. I'm gonna look at it this morning and see what it looks like. Looks like all the water's kind of drained down. I wanted 10 foot on the tank side of the fence when I finished. I think I'd have that, so I got it. I think the water will almost go around this way instead of in the tank. I may have to look at it a little bit after we leave, be sure it don't slough off no more. See it? See that little indention right there is kind of settled down. I think it'll be all right. I hope it is. It's hard to cover up a tank when it's got water in it, even though it's running out. That mud, you'll push it out there so far that the mud will just sink down to that mud and leave a crease there. So I've got to go back up this way to where they left that fence and do that, and I'll let you see that when we get up here. But this is the tank after I finished on it yesterday. Hey, got everything done on the fence row. Just finished up, filled up, got my trailer going. Head in and probably come back in the morning in the truck. I gotta go get some tire work done on it before I come down here, and then I'm gonna load up. I think I'll take it to the shop right quick and see if I can't clean it up a little bit. I brought some water this morning and dumped on the windows. Got them where I could see out of them. I wasn't going to waste no window cleaner because it was just solid dirt on there. So they cleaned up pretty good, but it's supposed to be warm for the next couple days, so maybe I can hook up a hose and kind of wash it off a little bit. Get ready to go to the next job. So whenever we figure out, I think I got to build a terrace in the field and take some water to a tank. I've got to meet with the guy and see what he exactly wants to do. I may have to clear it off before I can get a level and set it on grade. So anyway, the fence row's done, and have that video out for long about it. I'm gonna look down there at that tank. Sometimes it shows up better than I dug on the first video that I did. It might show up better because the sun's shining down there toward it when we go out. So I'll let you look at that right quick before we get to the gate. So again, appreciate y'all watching this channel. If you hadn't subscribed, wish you'd do that. Hit the like button, share it with all your friends. Like always, any comments or questions you have, put them on there and I'll be glad to answer them if I can. If I can't, I'll find you an answer. So anyway, until the next time we get on another job, remember, keep your blade shiny and your tracks clean, and maybe my dozer will be clean on the next time you see it. So